morning, evening, or night, wherever you are. Welcome to WHAM today. Take a deep breath, clear your mind, and let's drift through the whispers of today's world, one quiet thought at a time. As we wrap up Sunday, 11th May 2025, let's see what stories are unfolding around us. China's economic trajectory is complex, marked by both progress and challenges. In Geneva, Switzerland, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng engaged in high-level trade discussions. The property market shows a split, with major cities like Beijing and Shanghai seeing recovery, while smaller regions struggle with oversupply and weak demand. Stimulus measures are offering limited support to the stock market. Yunnan province experienced a 26.5% increase in agricultural imports from its largest trading partner in the first quarter. Electric vehicle exports to the UK have decreased, but plug-in hybrid exports soared by 18.49% year-on-year in March. Tesla's retail sales in China fell by 8.56% year-on-year in April, reaching 28,731 units. Thai billionaire Fraser's property plans to expand within China after a significant profit increase. An increasing preference for local products is noted among Chinese consumers, reflecting national pride. Turning to the United States, the country was represented by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent in trade talks with China in Geneva, Switzerland. Former President Trump is said to be considering reducing tariffs on Chinese goods by up to 80%, with several potential agreements under review. India's stock market faced a downturn as the Nifty 50 concluded the week at 24,008, marking a 1.39% drop, while the BSE Sensex closed at 79,454.47, decreasing by 1.3%. Anticipated drivers for the market in the approaching week encompass geopolitical tensions with Pakistan, retail inflation figures, foreign fund flows, global market signals, and forthcoming March quarter earnings disclosures from prominent firms, including Tata Motors, Bharti Airtel, and Tata Steel. Historically, India's stock market has shown robustness and a propensity to rebound after geopolitical tensions ease, like ceasefires with Pakistan. Following the use of the BrahMos missile against Pakistan, India launched a new BrahMos missile production facility. Furthermore, Indian exchanges BSE and NSE are said to be restricting overseas access to their websites. A shaky ceasefire was in effect between India and Pakistan following hours of overnight conflict. United States is seeing increased gold trading at the St. Vincent Jewelry Center in Los Angeles. This rise is due to global economic uncertainties that are driving up gold prices. The U.S. economy is marked by a consumption rate that exceeds its production capacity. China, on the other hand, is facing an issue of overproduction coupled with underconsumption. Tariffs are pushing Chinese merchants to explore new markets. They are looking at the Middle East and Latin America. China's merchants are actively seeking alternative markets, like the Middle East and Latin America, due to tariffs. This shift highlights China's economic challenge of overproduction versus domestic consumption. Australia is moving forward with large-scale airport expansion projects to improve its infrastructure. An Australian exchange operator has also suggested IPA reforms to boost the country's listing activity. Brazilian President Lula's visit to Russia highlights the ongoing strategic relationship between the two countries, despite global tensions. Russian President Vladimir Putin has proposed direct negotiations with Ukraine. He initially suggested Istanbul as a location on May 15th. Later, Putin stated talks could proceed without preconditions. Ukrainian President Zelensky insists on a ceasefire before any peace talks commence. The Russia-West divide persists, especially during Victory Day commemorations. Japan is grappling with a manufacturing sector slowdown, evidenced by the first profit decrease in 2 years. Prime Minister Ishiba is again advocating for the complete removal of tariffs between Japan and the United States. In Tokyo, authorities apprehended 3 Chinese nationals for running an illicit poker gambling operation. Turning to the Middle East, Abu Dhabi and Japan have formalized agreements designed to enhance collaboration and increase trade and investment activity between the two nations. Shifting focus to India, SMBC, a prominent Japanese financial institution, is poised to acquire a 20% ownership stake in Yes Bank, a significant player in the Indian banking sector. Saudi Arabia's economic landscape saw Aramco announce a first-quarter profit of $26 billion, a slight dip attributed to fluctuating oil prices and production adjustments. The King Abdullah Financial District, CAFD, remains pivotal in the nation's broader economic diversification and investment strategy. Ukraine is considering President Putin's offer for direct talks in Istanbul, Turkey, but insists on a ceasefire as a prerequisite. Meanwhile, President Zelensky has expressed openness to negotiations if Russia agrees to halt hostilities. The United Kingdom is tightening its visa rules to curb legal migration. Concurrently, the UK government has announced its most comprehensive package of sanctions against Russia. Yet, citing the ongoing situation in Ukraine, South Korea's economic growth lagged behind major economies in the first quarter. Politically, former Prime Minister Han withdrew from the presidential race. This withdrawal could potentially unify the conservative political faction. Trade is also a key issue, with Astagria planning a visit for upcoming trade negotiations. Meanwhile, DeepSeek's popularity is waning in South Korea, despite resumed downloads, largely due to security concerns. Pakistan's stock market is facing turbulence. The CAE 100 index fell more than 9% in just 4 days. This drop is attributed to rising tensions with neighboring India. The index is currently down 7% for the year. Since the terror attack in Pahalgam on April 22nd, the CAE 12.5% decrease. The conflict with Pakistan is also affecting India. Indian equities have lost $83 billion in value. Canada is seeing some economic ripples with the Rubber Duck Museum's planned relocation due to tariffs and concerns over former President Trump's proposal regarding U.S. statehood, leading to boycotts. Meanwhile, Korean Air is poised to acquire a 10% stake in WestJet, signaling potential shifts in the airline industry. Shifting focus to China, Asian shares are currently enjoying a period of extended gains, reflecting broader market trends in the region. Southward, in Colombia, former Panama President Martinelli is seeking asylum, a move that could further strain relations between the two nations. Over to Egypt, the country's annual inflation rate has risen to 13.5% in April, as measured by CAMUS, indicating economic pressures on consumers. In Ethiopia, there's a strategic push to bolster local banks with insights to unlock the potential of Ethiopia's capital markets. Across the Mediterranean, Europe offers E-Rate Global, SGX Udonoi, as an investment opportunity in commercial real estate across Germany, France, and Spain. The south of France is also preparing to host the 78th Cannes Film Festival, a major event for the international film community. Focusing on Gaza, Israel has reportedly endorsed former President Trump's food plan, although the specifics of this plan have not been fully disclosed. Turning our attention to Indonesia, Grab is reportedly considering acquiring Indonesia's Goto sometime in the second quarter, which could significantly alter the landscape of the ride-hailing and delivery market. Meanwhile, Iran has refuted reports of its intention to send missile launchers to Russia, dismissing these claims as ridiculous, although reports persist suggesting otherwise. In Ireland, former Prime Minister Leo Varadkar has been engaged in discussions about the country's corporate future, a key area for economic planning and development. Jordan's economy is showing signs of robust growth, with its industrial and financial sectors leading the charge in the first quarter. Turning to Russia, Vietnam is actively establishing favorable conditions for Russian businesses, strengthening economic ties between the two nations. Despite denials from Iran, reports suggest Iran is planning to send Russia launchers for short-range missiles. Moving to South Africa, Johannesburg, the country's wealthiest city, requires a substantial R200 billion investment to prevent infrastructure collapse. Across the Atlantic, in the United Kingdom, the United States trade agreement maintains a 10% baseline tariff on most imported goods, according to Lutnick, impacting trade dynamics. In the United States, European officials are drawing a red line regarding food safety standards, particularly in response to the Trump administration's criticism of regulations restricting American beef and other meats from European markets. In Vietnam, policy support for private enterprises is expected to boost the stock market. As previously noted, Vietnam is also actively fostering a welcoming environment for Russian businesses. Finally, in Belgium, we find the story of Colby Gray, a 24-year-old American who relocated there in 2023 and manages to live on a budget of $132 per month. And that's a wrap for today's news, because even headlines need a nap. Stay curious, stay kind, and let the noise fade as you find your quiet. Take care, stay awesome, and I'll see you next time on WHAM Today.